Hello everybody and welcome once again to Sports Trading Novice. Today's review is on a service called InplayTrading.com or Inplay Trading as we're going to know them. What we're going to do, follow a similar format to the other videos in this series. We will go through a list of the benefits of the service, the resources and tools that you get and the level of support, my experiences from being a member of the service, and also just confirm what the current costs are and indeed my overall verdict. So without further ado, let's crack on. So InplayTrading.com is where you need to go to. In terms of the site itself, very clean, very good. Obviously links that you need here. There are some free videos that the site puts out, so let's move on to that first of all. Free content wise, there is a bit. There isn't as much as on some other services, but nevertheless the content that you get here is more instructional on how to use the tools and resources that come as part of the service. One thing that is very worth a mention here, and probably the main highlight point that I would say is sort of worth it in terms of tools, is the Inplay scanner. This thing is brilliant. There are two versions, one that links up to the feed for stats from Betfair and one from Bookmaker. Now I don't know whether it's a bookmaker or a series of them, but you can see differences in the stats. So for example, with Betfair it may say there's been 3 shots on target, but on the bookmaker scanner it might say there's been 4 or 5. There's different feeds of information, there's different people at the match who are providing that data to Betfair and the bookmaker respectively, so it's a difference of opinion from the individual who's watching the game. But nevertheless, there is versions of both available. And some people prefer to use one over the other. Again, do a bit of research and find out why. I'm sure you'll come across bits and pieces everywhere, little nuggets of gold. But for the main part, the Betfair one is the one that most people use. And by all means, it will highlight games to you. They have these wonderful pressure indexes which make noises and light up if a game is, experiencing, a lot of action. So if there's, multiple shots on target in a short space of time, it will flag that up to you. And it's a very, very good and powerful tool. It can be filtered, so you can look for games that, say, for example, have got to 60 minutes and are still 0-0, and it will highlight those games to you. You can further filter that and say, well, if it's got to 60 minutes and it's still 0-0, but there's been at least 6 shots on target in the game, no matter whether it's 6 for one side, none to the other, or 3 each, or whatever combination, you can set it up how you like, and it will give you your own list. And even better, when you get a game that qualifies for your filtered list, it can email you to tell you that it's appeared, or send a telegram alert. Now, if you're out and about and you don't want to miss out because you think there's going to be a few games that are going to qualify today, a few teams you got your eye on, this thing can ping a telegram message to you to say, "Oi, this game's met your filter criteria." You can have a quick look on your smartphone and whack a trade on while you're out and about. You don't have to be at a computer. You don't have to be sitting there watching the scanner waiting for things to happen. You can be out and about, you can be in the garden doing a bit of gardening, doing whatever, in the supermarket doing your shop, getting some beers and burgers for a barbecue, and ping ping, your phone goes, oh, you've got something on the scanner that meets your criteria. You can get onto Betfair on your smartphone, place your trade, and jobs are good. And so a very, very handy piece of kit, very indeed. One thing I will say about Inplay Trading, it's one service that's offered as from a collection from the same group basically, and that there are other services which I'm not going to review. Pre-match trading and trading football. There's another one I think called Trade the Horses as well. They're all part of the same group. The more that you take from the group in terms of subscriptions to the services, the more value you're getting, because you're not going to pay the full whack for each one. If you take more than one, then you will receive some sort of subsidy, and you will get better value for that, which is really good. Going back to Inplay Trading, the scanner is the main sort of tool that you have when you've got the service, but as well as that, there are pro traders in the group, in the chat room, that you have access to as a member, and they don't just post details about football trades. There's pro traders in there who are very, very astute on the horses. They will give you information on the selections that they have, what they're going for. They even use betting software. I think the key one that they use is the one I like the most, which is BetAngel, because of the automation features. Again, perhaps I'll do a video on that to explain, but nevertheless, with BetAngel you can share. If you set up a kind of an automated file, so you tell BetAngel, right, if this criteria is met and this criteria is met, I want you to place this trade. Essentially, these guys create those and they will share them with members. So that the same exact automation and sort of rules that they're using to get their software to place a trade for them, because it can react so much quicker, these guys will share theirs with you. They don't charge extra for that, they just do it, and they don't have to. They are very supportive, very, very good people. I've been a member perhaps about half a dozen times over the last 3 years, and the reason that I don't stick with it is primarily because I joined when the cost is affordable. And let me just move on to that briefly. So in terms of costs, there isn't an annual membership. Sometimes there is what's called a season pass. Obviously, when the football begins at the beginning of August, usually through to the end of the following May, there's sometimes a season pass that gets offered. But a month at £39. Again, it's not easy for me on a £200 bank to get the sort of results that allow me to generate that kind of money. A 2 week for 20. If I'd be lucky to scrape the £20 to £30 in a month, and again, I'm using small stakes. I'm using £2 or £4 stakes from a £200 bank. So at the moment, it isn't affordable for me in terms of the profits that I'm generating to be a member of the service at the rates they have at the moment. Like I say, every now and then they might do like a special offer. I've had a few weekend passes which I think have been like a £5 or something like that, and I've taken those because if there's so many games on, I've got a good chance of making some of that back, and also getting involved and perhaps on some of the horse trading stuff that they're doing, which I'm not particularly confident with, but it's something that I like dipping my toe in to broaden my horizons in terms of my sports trading. So I tend to take them up when those are on, but from a kind of month to month basis, I'm not able to kind of afford this. I mean, it's 30 odd pound plus a month is something that I would dream to be able to afford on £2 stakes, but unfortunately I'm just not that successful a trader. I'm making some money, but it's paltry in compared to the costs. But having said that, that's my problem for having a small bank. By all means, for anybody who's got something like a £500 plus bank, this is, I would say, quite achievable. And certainly the resources that you get with this, like the scanner, the strategies, the email alerts, the tips from the horse trading pros on those, because again, this service is about football, but there are people who put their horse trading picks and selections up in the group and the chat room and work from there, and they're brilliant. And I tell you, the value at £39 a month, or if you can afford to splash out a little bit more to get slightly cheaper for the 3 or 6 months and get extra value, it's there. Do you know what I mean? You can make that back very easily, and then some on top. But you do need to have a good size starting bank in order to generate the sort of profits that come with it. So in terms of my review, and my experience as a member, every time that I do sign up for that short period when there's an offer on, I always get something out of it. I always learn something. I always feel as though that there's something on offer that helps me. One thing I would say as well in terms of finding out about offers when they're coming on, do follow their Twitter here, which is @footballtraders on Twitter. You will find as well that from time to time they will stick a trade on. So like here, Goal Watch. On this now, they explain Goal Watch in on Twitter. I'm not going to sort of let you know what goal watch means. They do explain it on their Twitter feed, so it's easy for you to find out what they mean by saying they're going to do a goal watch trade. But that's a tip that's just on their Twitter feed. You don't have to be a member. That look, goal watch 8 shots on target, and it tells you which game, and you can then decide to whether you want to go and trade that or not. So it's worth following them for that, because there are some free tips that get given out, but likewise, if they are going to be doing a promotion, that is where you will find details of it. From my point of the review, that's everything that I can tell you about InplayTrading.com. I thoroughly enjoy the service every time that I do take them up on a weekend pass offer. There are some people in there who recognise my username, so when I log on, there's a lot of camaraderie in there, and they will say hi, how I've been keeping, asking how my trading's going, things like that. And it just feels like, coming. It's like, you've got that group of friends that you see once every few months, when you all get together. And I've never met some of these guys in person, but they just leave you with that feeling, that you're always welcome. And, if you ever need anything, give them a shout. So, in-play trading, do I recommend it? If you've got the size of the bank to sustain the monthly subs, 100% yes. It's brilliant. The scanner is very good indeed. It's very well worth it, and the tips that get provided by the other pro traders on other sports are second to none. They're really, really, really good, and for somebody with the right size bank, you will easily make that subscription cost and get some green and make some profit out of it every single month consistently, I assure you. That's pretty much it then for InplayTrading.com, and that's the 4th and last review that I'm doing currently in this mini series, so I hope you have enjoyed them. I'm looking at ideas on content for the channel going forward, so if you do have anything that you would like me to include, then please let me know. Put it in the comment section below. I will also add details of my social media accounts once I've got them set up to these videos retrospectively. But if you have been, thank you for watching, and I look forward to catching you the next time we make a video.